got the Eagles in an obvious bounce back spot. This line is already up over the key number of 7. So we're up to 7.5 over-unders. 41.5. How do you break down Eagles and the Giants?
I'm glad you brought over that turnover stat, Andy, because I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But first, did you all know, going back to the start of last season, the Giants are one of 2 teams in the league that does not have a single division win? Everybody watching live in the chat, if you want to, everyone watching live in the chat, if you want to take a guess who the other team is, I'll give the answer at the end of the breakdown. And you get no prize, but you can always brag to your friends, I guess. That's something. But this is the second week in a row, Andy, to your point with the turnovers, that we have an underdog on Thursday Night Football coming off a game where they turned the ball over a bunch. Last week, of course, it was the Niners. They were -4 in turnover margin the previous game against the Jaguars. Well, guess what they did? They obviously bounced back and beat the Rams outright. Interesting stat about teams that turn over the ball a lot here. So you go back to 2020. Teams that come off a game where they had 4 or more turnovers, 71, 51, and 6 against the spread the following week. So almost 60%. Pretty profitable situation there. Giants hope that trend continues because, as you mentioned, Andy, they turned it over 5 times last week in a pretty pathetic loss to the Saints. That game really swung on an 86-yard fumble return for touchdown. So that was the key of those 5 turnovers, because at the time it looked like the Giants were going to go in, take the lead. Instead, Scatabo fumbles. It's returned all the way to the house. G-Men lose 26-14. Jackson Dart, you mentioned him. He spells his name with an X. I don't know about that, but I do know that he's led the Giants to a touchdown on the opening drive each of his 2 starts. It's probably not going to happen every game, but it's something worth monitoring. Brian Daboll, the head coach for New York, he's clearly scripting the beginning of the game well for his rookie quarterback. But my bet here, it's more about just wanting to fade the Eagles, Andy. It's something I did last Sunday, and Denver +4.5 ended up being an outright winner. Yes, Philadelphia's still 4-1 on the season, but none of those 4 wins have been by more than 7 points. This is a team, guys, the Eagles. They are -0.9 in yards per play differential. To put that number in perspective, the Giants are -0.8 in yards per play differential. So give me the +7.5 here. Home dogs getting 7 or more in a division game, that's historically profitable. It's a low total here as well, so you got to think points are at a premium. Having that 7.5-point head start with the G-Men seems like the way to go for me. And if I don't know if anyone got the question right, but the other team besides the Giants without a division win going back to the start of last season, would you like to take a stab, Andy, as I see you scratching your chin? I'll give you a second to think. Who the
Is it the Tennessee Titans?
Surprisingly, it is not. That is a very good guess, though.
I'm trying to think of just the worst of the worst. Jets? I don't know.
It is the team that will be playing the Titans this week, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Hey, what do you have up for everyone?
Yeah, just want to go back to the weekend, guys. The weekend started great, Andy. I had my biggest college football play of the season, a 5% max bet. It was Cincinnati over Iowa State. Got a little hairy at the end, but Cincinnati was definitely the right side. That was when I thought it was going to be the start of a great weekend. Unfortunately, guys, the rest of the weekend was kind of a disappointment. At least we did have the Jaguars last night. You talk about teams that deserve to lose close, Andy. I don't think any team deserves to lose close more than the Kansas City Chiefs. When Joe Buck kept talking about that 11-0 stat from last year, I said, ooh, the regression gods could come smiling on us, and they did. So that was a nice win to cap the NFL week with the Jaguars. I wanted to point one thing out, too, about this show. Last 3 weeks, I am 6-0 when coming on the show with the picks I've given.
Wow.
So Blue Jays team total over, which is a client play, a 2% client play, and that play on the Giants. Perhaps you would like to scribble that down on a piece of paper, everyone. And you should also scribble down on a piece of paper, wt.buzz/BP. That is where you go for a best bet in college football. As always, Andy, for $5 Tuesday, I like to choose a college football game where I think we're getting a good line right now, and I give it out for $5. Let's beat that line move. You get it for that great price of $5, 4% best bet, only $5. Again, we won our biggest play of the season last Saturday with Cincinnati against Iowa State, and it'd be something if they beat Ohio State. But yeah, go to my page right now and get that 4% best bet for just $5. Really like this one, and I recommend getting it now instead of later. Let's get that best available line.